This episode contains graphic descriptions of crime scenes which may be disturbing to some listeners.
This is part 2 of the murders of Roger Eastwood and Leon Rascoe, two East Coast truck drivers. No connection, except one. The same gun ended both of their lives. Now we take a closer look at the evidence and the unanswered questions in the hunt for their killer.
This is APB Cold Case. Here's your host, former Police Chief Mark Spahn.
Our story begins on Saturday, August 9th, 1975, just 20 days before Roger Eastwood was murdered. On this night, 47-year-old truck driver Leon Rascoe of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, was on a run for Capital Products, hauling a load of aluminum. At 1:41 a.m., Leon entered the Pennsylvania Turnpike, I-76 East, at the new Stanton interchange. 73 miles later, and feeling tired, Leon pulled over onto a wide shoulder to rest at mile marker 149.7. About 5.5 hours later, at 7:10 a.m., a motorist passing Rascoe's parked rig notices a man lying by the side of the truck and calls police. Leon is found unconscious and bleeding from the head, but he's still alive. He's rushed to Johnstown Memorial Hospital in serious condition. In the cab of his truck, police find an envelope from his employer and his hat. You can see a picture of the truck interior in our show notes. Further investigation revealed that Leon Rascoe had been robbed. Some of his belongings were later found in the median about 50 miles east of the scene. There were a couple theories as to what prompted him to exit the truck. One is that Leon was rousted from his sleeper cab by someone throwing a fist-sized rock against the cab. Corporal Dana Martini has the case today for the Pennsylvania State Police.
There were other plausible theories that he exited the car to go to the restroom. So there was multiple theories. All they really knew is there was somebody, the actor, did some kind of rouse to get him out of his trailer. But it is believed that he would have been parked there, and then the actor would have saw the opportunity. We do believe the intent was to rob him.
Police say that the victim likely exited the cab and walked around to the right side of the truck, where he was shot twice in the head at close range. And while Leon was lying in a hospital bed fighting for his life, Roger Eastwood was shot and killed on August 29th. You can hear those details in part 1 of this episode. Sadly, Leon would succumb to his injuries. He died on September 13th, just over a month after he was shot, without ever regaining consciousness. He left behind a wife, 2 daughters, and 5 grandchildren. The bullet fragments recovered from his head were determined to be from a .32 caliber pistol. Newspaper reports at the time said that police had no suspects. Now, let's take a look at the details of the 2 murders. In the early morning hours of August 9th, 1975, truck driver Leon Rascoe was shot sometime after pulling his rig over to the side of the road on I-76 East in Pennsylvania. 20 days later, in the early morning hours of August 29th, truck driver Roger Eastwood was shot and killed after pulling his truck over to the side of the road on I-295, just east of the Pennsylvania border in New Jersey. In spite of the several hundred-mile distance between the 2 crimes, the cases were initially connected because of the circumstance and timing. But evidence collected at autopsy revealed that the bullets recovered from both men were linked. Detective Taylor Bonner.
And that's when they traced the bullets to be the .32 caliber. And then they determined that those bullets were shot from the same gun that killed Leon Rascoe as well. Were these people targeting truck drivers, or were they just happened to be in the same area and those 2 were just the unlucky ones? Those are the things that we won't know until we find out who they were.
Roger Eastwood's wife, Nancy.
I got a lot of questions, but no answers. But it seemed odd to me that another truck driver was killed like 2 weeks before with the same gun.
Despite the similarity, the Leon Rascoe case remains particularly difficult. Unlike the Eastwood murder, there were no known eyewitnesses to Leon's shooting, no reports of suspicious vehicles, no clear timeline of movement after the attack other than the discarded belongings found miles away. What remains is a haunting image: a truck pulled safely onto the shoulder, a driver stopping only to rest, and someone taking advantage of that moment of vulnerability. We don't know what other evidence was collected. Police aren't talking about shell casings, fingerprints, or DNA, but they do want to hear from anyone that might have even the smallest piece of the puzzle to share with them. Again, here's Taylor Bonner with the New Jersey State Police. He's investigating the murder of Roger Eastwood.
More people coming forward with things they've heard or things they've seen that they may not have come forward back then, that now they either want to get off their chest that they saw, whether in Pennsylvania or here, or things they've heard from family members or from the newspapers that they're like, okay, oh, maybe I did see that. Or people driving on Beverly Rancocas Road at that time frame in the middle of the night. It had to be more than just, a few people that saw those males standing around. Things like that of just coming forward, a better description of the car on 295, a better description of the green truck that was seen on Beverly Rancocas Road, better description of the males. Anything that they may have thought they saw, things they saw, it doesn't matter. Anything to progress this case any further, it's helpful. Even if you don't think it's worth it, still let us know and we'll determine if it was worth it or not. And I feel like that's for all cases, not just this one. Even if it's the smallest detail that you don't think is worth it, it's all worth it.
Corporal Dana Martini of the Pennsylvania State Police, investigating Leon Rascoe's murder, feels the same way.
Any information in regard to anybody that frequently traveled the Turnpike, that may have seen anything, anybody that knows Leon, this is cases from 1975, anybody that remembers him and that can offer any information in regard to him, anything that would have made him vulnerable to something of this nature, listen, I will follow up on any lead, any information that anybody provides me. We will follow up on everything. It won't ever be closed. It's open and active. We do get calls that come in. You can stay anonymous if you wish, but if any names surface of an individual that this sounds like their MO, that they knew maybe got arrested in their area or in their state, the Turnpike is traveled by obviously multiple state residents. So if there's another state and you've heard of somebody getting arrested for something of this nature, we'd be happy to take a look at them and compare them to our case as well.
There were 2 witnesses who came forward in the Eastwood case, people who were able to speak about seeing a vehicle parked up ahead of Roger's rig, and then the car on nearby Beverly Rancocas Road. Was this the same vehicle, the same person, or people? In the Leon Rascoe case in Pennsylvania, there were no witnesses outside of the man who observed Rascoe's body about an hour after sunrise. But were these the only 2 victims of the killer or killers? We decided to do a little digging, and we found the 1977 cold case murder of Frank Ziegler, a 28-year-old truck driver who was heading home to White Chalk, Pennsylvania after a 3-day haul. According to an article in the Pittsburgh Press, Frank called his wife Karen from his last stop in Ambridge to say that he was coming home. He mentioned that his truck needed 2 new tires and that he was carrying $400 in cash to buy them. Back on the road, but feeling tired, Frank pulled his truck over along Warrendale Bain Road in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, to grab a little rest before continuing home. The next day, September 27, 1977, Frank was found dead in the cab of his truck, with 2 gunshot wounds to the head, according to a report in the Simpsons Leader-Times. Police told the Pittsburgh Press that it appeared Ziegler was shot through the window from outside the truck. His wallet was recovered, but no cash was found. He left behind a wife and 3 small children under the age of 6. His homicide occurred about 2 years after the murders of Eastwood and Rascoe. And to put the location in perspective, it's about 360 miles from where Roger Eastwood was found and 120 miles from where Leon Rascoe was found. At first blush, the Ziegler case has similarities to the shootings of Eastwood and Rascoe. All were truck drivers, all shot twice in the head. But there was a suspect in the Ziegler homicide, Edward Surratt. He would have been 35 years old in 1977. Described as an unemployed truck driver and former Marine, published reports say that Surratt was a person of interest in the Ziegler killing on September 27, 1977. Those reports also say he was a suspect in the beating death of a couple in Marshall Township, Pennsylvania, 3 days later on September 30th. Surratt went on to commit a laundry list of heinous crimes with varying MOs. He continued his reign of terror until his capture in 1978. But a recent news report indicated that police believe Surratt was responsible for the murder of truck driver Frank Ziegler. So could he be responsible for Leon Rascoe and Roger Eastwood? We asked Pennsylvania authorities about Surratt, and while they're very familiar with him, they don't believe he's connected. We may never find the answers we're looking for in these cases, but the dedicated cops investigating these crimes will never give up. Corporal Dana Martini.
The unfortunate thing is I think sometimes people are under the impression that these cases get closed and that nobody's working on them. I guess I can only speak for our department, though. We don't close them, and we actually have 2 people that are looking at them all year, every year. They don't get closed. We have a lead investigator, and then I oversee them as well. We actually have 2 people that are always looking at these and following up on information.
The persistence that these detectives bring to a cold case is important to the families.
I think for the family, just showing the family that we care, that we truly care about their loved one. I know, having worked these cases, you feel like you knew the victim because you dive into these cases so much and learn so much about the victimology that you, in a sense, really have empathy for that person and the family.
Roger's wife, Nancy.
I just want this person called. I did it first at the beginning, wanting them on death row, but I said that'd be too easy. I like to have him in a solitary confinement for the rest of his life. I hope this person was younger than Roger, because this person could still be deceased, but even if he is, I still want to know who.
Unfortunately for Rogers and Leon and whatever other victim, they'll never know until someone comes forward. And they just have kind of stories from their other family of up until that day, but they don't know what happened after that day. And that's something they live with constantly. They go to sleep thinking about it. They wake up thinking about it. There's really no closure for these families. Obviously, you could say it's closure, but they always got to live with it.
We hope that someone will come forward with information in this case, and we hope that evolving forensic technology may be helpful in solving these murders.
There's more advancements of technology every day. We're constantly looking into and constantly trying to use the next greatest best thing that's going to help us advance these cases. Even if it's not getting the suspect yet, at least it's getting one step closer to eventually solving this.
The Pennsylvania State Police are offering a $5,000 reward for information that solves the murder of Leon Rascoe. If you have any information that can help police in the murder of Leon Rascoe, call Pennsylvania State Police at 1-800-4PA-TIPS. And if you have information on the murder of Roger Eastwood, call the New Jersey State Police at 1-833-4NJ-COLD or email coldcase@njsp.gov. And don't forget to check out our detailed show notes and blog at apbcoldcase.com.
Thanks for listening to APB Cold Case. Tell us about your cold case at apbcoldcase@spawngroup.com. APB Cold Case is an original Spawn Group production.